Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about education, particularly what I was going through along with computers and computer programming. Basically go over a few of the years as quick as I can, but leaving in all the important parts to go along with it. And as far as education is concerned, a lot of people now are getting themselves into heavy debts. And the big reason for that is the increased cost towards the education system that are soaring at huge levels, along with its base fundamentals of debt itself, which is set up to get really big. And I actually went through debt on the latter parts of my college education. At first, I was able to purchase tuition mainly because it was a heck of a lot cheaper when I first went to school than it is today, but because I was also able to earn enough income. I'll start this story off when I was 11, barely 11 years old. And at this point, I got my first ever computer, a Commodore 64. Very primitive to today's standards, but it was actually quite fun. And a lot of the stuff that I learned within the programming of the basic language, because by the time I was 13, I could make many different programs on the basic language, and even more when I was into high school. I learned this all on my own. So you don't have to go to college or school to learn different things. It's an easy way to do so. But as long as you have a passion for wanting to learn something, then as long as you have the resources for it, it will be done. And I had a passion for doing this computer programming. By the time I entered high school, I was using computers for the first time in school, at high school. In grade 10, during my computer programming class, which was so easy because it was pretty much the exact same stuff that I was doing at home, I was labeled a spaghetti programmer, which is where your programming code just goes all over the place. I was the type of person that liked to put in the REM statements, which is basically to point out anyone reading the program what it is you are doing with it. No, I didn't like doing it. I had to in school, but my programs would just go all over the place. Very hard to read my work. And to this date, if you look at my spreadsheets that I make, or if I were to make any computer programs again, it would be very hard to make. And as I was going through school, in high school, as you move into grade 11 and 12, you were able to take more classes for which you wanted, of interest, that is. They called those electives. And I pretty much went huge within business and computers. That's where I spent every single one of those extra courses, that by the time I was in grade 11, 12, I was taking 2 classes a year that would require computers. And this is now the early 90s. You don't have much computers at that time even. When I got out of high school, I thought, you know what, I'm 17 years old and I can go to college. So I decided to wait a year, wait till I was 18. It was a way to earn some extra income. So when I did take my first course, which was a marketing class, I had enough money where I could pay for my tuition, which was $1,000, about over a decade and a half ago. A little over $1,000. Paid for my room and board for the entire year, and I had a ton of cash. Only thing is, you're 18, you're on your own for the very first time, and, well, a learning experience. You learn what alcohol is really like. It's a lot of fun, at least it was then, but you stay up till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and, well, one thing I learned to do in school was how to pass. And passing was 50%, which was pretty easy. Passed every class. However, every single class I passed was like 58%, 63%. The school didn't want me anymore. Said your marks were not good enough. And the whole time I was pretty much partying within the college residence. But no debt because I paid for it all on my own. went back to school at a different college. Not in the big city of Toronto, but in a smaller city. And the interesting thing about this class, or this course, was when it started, I did okay. I didn't really have a computer at the time because, well, the Commodore 64 was so ancient, I never used it. But the moment in which I got myself a PC, which was a 486 at the time, I was able to see all my marks just go poof, huge to the upside. My computer theory class, first semester, 55%. Good thing the practical side brought my mark higher. But in the second semester, when I actually had a physical computer to work with, my theory went up to like 75, 80, 85%. And this is stuff I had like no clue about. And there was another class that was called Q Basic Programming. Oh, this was easy. It was so easy that I was able to find people who are like, hey Derek, can you help me with this program? It takes me like 2-3 minutes to change different variables, and heck, it was an easy way to make a little bit of money. Is that ethical? No. But that's what the monetary system makes us do. That's what the fear emotions make us do, is stuff like that. Anyway, unfortunately, I was not able to finish that class due to medical reasons at the time. Heck, I was in a math class where I never went. Didn't go to school on Fridays at all on the later part. And I still passed with honors. Why? Because I could learn this information on my own. Now, I had to buy one of their textbooks to do it. And may I add that these textbooks that they have in college, like 2-3 times more than a generic, good, regular brand or book that is not for school. It's very interesting because you have to buy. It's like a monopoly, sort of like the monetary system. You are forced into the fiat currency. Within college, you are monopolized to the material on many different occasions. Yes, sometimes you can get used books from the previous year, maybe save half the price, but not always, because they update them every year, 2 or 3 years, so that you can't do that as much. Especially books like math books and history books. Computer books, that I can understand, but that was one of my things even then, and to today, I'm like, why do we need a new math book? 2 + 2 was 4 then, and it's still 4 today. But that's just the way it was. After the illness went aside, I was able to get a degree in the accounting field. And accounting, boring. And a lot of the stuff that is done has good skills. But accounting, like a banker, is one of those positions that, quite frankly, is not needed. At least not the quantity that we have to today. That's, once again, that's just my personal opinion. And accounting didn't work out too well. I got an accounting job, and what was I making? $1 more than minimum wage? No, it wasn't yay, but it was very hard, even in the late 90s, which was when the unemployment rate was near its highest, to gain employment. So I thought, you know what, go back to school. Go back to Toronto, and I'll go in for a computer programming class. After all, this is something I've been doing for so long, it's very easy to do. Let's go ahead and do it. It was one of those classes that started in January, and during the first semester, it was a breeze. Literally, at least for the most part, it was a breeze. I pretty much passed every class with flying colors. And the computer programming class, the main Java class, there was 2 programming classes, but the Java one, it was easy for the first few months. I was kind of hoping we'd have C++ or Visual Basic, but no, it was Java. I didn't like it too much, but it was very close to the C++ type of language. And near the end of the semester, there was one thing that I found very confusing. Couldn't get it. I can't remember what it was to this day, but I couldn't get it. I tried, and when the exam came, Well, the majority of it didn't have that portion in it, so that was an easy pass. Here's the kicker. Second semester started in the month of May. It was a May, June, July, August course. This was an utter disappointment. Not only did I not get the last segment within that first Java class, but in the Java 2 class, the teacher did not like him, could not stand the teacher. And I wasn't the only one. The whole class did not seem to like this teacher. Not only that, but they missed one key element that was not taught at the end of the first semester. So did this teacher teach this to us? No. And computer programming is sort of like a snowball effect, where if you are off course, you really can't catch up. For example, in a science or biology class, you miss one aspect of it, so be it, you move on to the next level. That's not the case in computer programming. The net result for this class was that around 3/4 or 4/5 of the class failed. 3/4, 4/5 failed. This affected all my other courses in the meantime, for I was getting marks in the high 70s and 80s before. Now I'm getting marks in the 50s and 60s. It was the first time they had a summer class, and it was just terrible. So we decided as a group of individuals within the class to get together and pretty much protest against what happened, stating it was unfair. Not only did we want to either be able to come back to be able to do it, but even a refund for what happened. Now, they finally allowed me and everybody else to come back to the next semester. And I thought about it for a few days, and I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. It really wasn't worth it. I lost so much passion for computer programming. So much passion, not only for computer programming, but for the entire education system at that point. Now, after I finished that class, I was finally able to get some decent employment for a while and actually have some interesting times. However, what I learned from school never really did benefit throughout this employment issue as they label it. Not at all. All the stuff that I have done, the majority of it is from my skills that I learned myself, the skills that I did in college that was just so easy because it's something that I enjoyed. Because if you enjoy it, well, then you can do it very well. And I even, while I was working, I wrote a computer program to defeat blackjack. At least I wanted to see if it could be done. And the program was successful. It took me about 3 weeks to create it, and then I found out you gotta learn how to count cards. And that is something you don't learn in school. And then again, is it ethical to go to a casino to make money? Is it ethical to have a system that we have so that we need to make money? And not only that, but money which is designed to debt us really bad based on the monopoly, sort of like the monopoly on books within a college system. Because we're in a day and age now where you can go on to Google video, YouTube video, and so many of these other network sharing sites and learn what it is that you want. College, university, lectures are available to you. Documentaries on whatever it is you want to learn, it's available to us. And I've been saying on this channel for a few years, a couple years now, that the education bubble is coming, and it's going to be a serious bubble. So if you're planning on going to college, all I'm going to say is my feeling is well more than 4/5 of the classes in college I feel to be a waste. There's many that are very good. However, many will get you jobs that are just getting destroyed, aka within the financial system. and you go to college for stuff like history, buy an encyclopedia. Go on the internet and find out what it is you want to learn. Buy yourself some notepads, some pens, get yourself a computer and learn to type and type everything in, and you can educate yourself. And at a lower percentage of the price. Because student debts can be quite hefty. And I didn't pay much. The only student debts I paid was in that computer programming course. I was not able to make enough money to put me through college like I was able to before. And it worked out that I didn't have to pay interest for a while. And then when you started paying, then the interest would come into play. And I took about 7 years. What year is it? It's 20. I stopped paying it in 2008, 2009. And I started paying it in like 2001, 2002. So about 7, 8 years I paid for student loans for 1 year. 120 bucks a month out of my account. And of that 120, only about 8 or 9 might have been interest, maybe 7, I don't remember. Still, it was money that does not exist, that increases overall debt. And we can see in our world today, the system just doesn't work. And the education system, education's great, but I think it needs a major, major transition for the betterment of society. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.